Or can I hear you?
We are going to, Elise, I'm not sure if you can hear me. We're going to kick off here in about 5 minutes. I just want to let you know that we're just setting up and welcoming people in. But we'll kick off everything promptly at 12, okay? Thanks.
Yeah, everybody. Wow, there's no sound. Only two. Joey. He's muted.
Go ahead.
Hello, guys. How are you today? I'm so glad you guys are here. We're very good. My name is Tina, and I'm a certified self-defense instructor, fifth degree black belt, and a registered nurse. These guys are true experts in the field. I've been doing this for like 15 years on top of nursing, but these guys have been doing it way more than I have, way longer than I have. And so even though we set this up kind of as a like a demo, we're going to encourage everybody to get a little hands-on practice before you go. I mean, if you'd like to, no pressure. But how can you not take advantage of this when you guys are standing right here and they're letting you, beat up on them?
Go ahead, Lynelle. Go.
So this is Michael. He's been practicing and teaching security and self-defense for over 30 years. Zeke and Jerry, you guys have been doing this for like 20 years. So we're going to leave some time at the end for some questions and answers, because always there's a lot of random things that come up. So the main thing that we do for self-defense is we're really focused on practicality. Like nurses, we're a practical breed, right? I want to know if you're going to teach me something, is that really going to work? Or is that just making me feel like I learned to move and then I'm never going to be able to do that if that's what anything happens, So
I don't think. Pardon me? No, it doesn't have to
you
be.
guys are obviously at a high, you have a high risk, you're at a high risk occupation, you're dealing with isolation, meeting new people all the time. And I'm just wondering, out of all of you guys, how many of you have ever had like a situation where you felt like seriously, like, yeah? I feel like most, yeah, no, maybe? I have. So you have twice, yeah. So today what we're gonna do is we're gonna start off with some safety strategies, because prevention is obviously always gonna be your number one. Awareness, avoidance, getting, just not letting it happen in the first place. I would be remiss if we didn't, go through some of that. We're gonna go through, everybody's different though, so at the end of this hour, I hope that you guys are gonna have your own protection plan to kind of integrate into your daily routine or when you're working, right? Then we're gonna go through just the most important aspects of self-defense. So there are a lot of misconceptions out there, especially for women. I am not going to get away with the same things that Michael. Size doesn't matter, turns out. Right? So we're going to talk about that a little bit, about what self-defense versus sport. This line gets blurred all the time. What's the difference between MMA and sparring versus real self-defense? Because they're quite different. And the things that I would need to do to save my life are very different than the things that you would do in many martial arts classrooms, wrestling, jujitsu, all of these kind of. We're going to go through self-defense weapons, a little bit of pros and cons there, because that's super important. I think I read some statistics where a lot of you guys actually carry a weapon, or like it was like 30 or 40%, which is quite high. But you really need to know some of the ins and outs. And there's a lot of things that maybe you didn't. So we're gonna go through that. And like I said, we're gonna do some Q&A, and then we're gonna I'm gonna show you physically what you would need to do against a bigger and stronger attacker, God forbid, if all else fails. And then hopefully get you guys up to do some of these practice, Okay?
I'm a little excited.
So,
Do not prompt that.
Oh man, we've done her a while. You've known her for like 20 minutes. Just don't prompt her to do that.
I want her excited. Definitely.
Because the reality is God forbid you do get into a situation where you have to protect your life. There's literally no time to think. It's very chaotic. It's never how you plan. And it goes like lightning fast. So, if you had to get, like, let's say something, it gets to a physical altercation point, about how long do you think you have for that fight to go one way or another? 10 seconds? Yeah, like 1 or 2 seconds, max, right?
Big tops.
So, any questions there? So, obviously, awareness, we have to touch on that real quick. Awareness is the #1, the most important part of your self-defense strategy, because if you don't know what's going on, everything is moot, you know? All I need is one, like, clock in the head from anybody, basically, punches me out, I'm done, right? If I don't at least know that something is there, no self-defense. So we're talking about awareness when you're out, you know, in general, in life, all this stuff really applies to your life, even though we'll go through some stuff that's also specific just to you guys going through a house and a property or whatever. But, you know, yeah.
Your gut. Don't forget your gut.
Your gut, yeah, your body's instincts are there for a reason, and we're special. I have to say, especially for women, we're really good at talking ourselves out of our instincts and being like rationalizing. And I could be wrong, but I would think for you guys it's even more so because now your livelihood is attached to. You can't just be like, you know what I mean? And it's like, I don't like this guy. You know, this is like, oh, is this going to get me in trouble with my job? Or do you guys feel like that? There has to be at least some extra hesitation there. And to that, I would just say, you know, your livelihood is important, obviously, but if you don't have your life, or if you're all screwed up because you got attacked, then that doesn't really mean anything. So, awareness. So when you're out in the world, is your awareness more external, or are you in your head? Right? For me, my nature, I'm in my head all the time. It took a long time for me to kind of direct things outward. So that's super important. You all know, if you self-assess, whether you're somebody who's good at kind of being aware of your surroundings or if you're not. So that's up to you. But if you're not, if you would say that your awareness when you're out isn't great, I would just start there, right? Because
Absolutely.
that's #1. I think it depends a lot on how you grew up, where you grew up, what your habits were. Did you have like a cop or father telling you, you're gonna get raped every time, or is it like, so cell phones and earpods, we all know this, right? It blocks your awareness. Again, this is all up to you, especially if you're in your car, right? You must do a lot of work in your car waiting for people or responding to emails and stuff. But just being lost in your phone, I think if you're lost in your phone and someone just gets the drop on you, that's it, done, right? So that's a little bit, these are like, I always think of like, this is like diet and exercise for women. Things we all know, I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but you still have to do something in order for it to matter. You know what I mean? So everybody knows not to use their cell phone, but we all use them. So I would just put it out there. Try to choose more when you get lost in your phone. Can you position your car in a way where you're facing, where you don't have your back to anything, people are not going to sneak up on you, and just try to be cognizant of that. Awareness is also awareness of red flags. So women are also really good, especially at ignoring the red flag. I'm not going to go there, okay? But we all yeah. But also in the job, like, you need to be aware of what puts you at a little higher of a risk, which I'm sure you do to an extent. Are you, isolation equals vulnerability. How isolated are you? Is it dark? Is there anyone else around? Blah, blah, blah. And then, like Michael said, awareness also of your gut instincts. If you're good at following your gut instincts, that's awesome. And if you feel like you're not somebody who over question yourself, I would start there and just even make it a practice to just listen to that internal yes or no and act on that. Because it's the acting on it that is the important part. We all know stuff that we don't act on, and I'm sure you've heard that like almost 100% of cases where someone was victimized, they usually felt like something was wrong. Something was off, whatever before, right? And if you feel like you're not good at awareness, ask us later because we play little awareness games when you're out in the world. So that could be a way to. Because I love standing up here and talking to you guys, but it's really what you're going to take away and what like habits you're willing to change that would potentially make the difference, Okay, so let's go through some safety strategies.
And
So for
Tina,
those people on.
I was just gonna say,
Zoom-
we have, like 5 or 6 people on Zoom right now.
So I actually didn't realize that you guys were gonna do them, so what I would say is I can. Maybe have them, maybe you guys take out a pen and paper, just make some notes, we're just gonna go through some strategies. And I kinda at the end want you to kind of, this is like another self-assessment. Some of these things are obvious, some of these things you may do already, some of them that you may not. And then we'll go quickly through some of the self-explanatory ones, but there's a few that stand out. So I would say the people online can make little notes, jot down little notes, and then at the end, I'll have Lynelle email that out just so they have a hard copy. Okay. I'm just thinking. So this is the first, so the guy who taught us, all of us, his name is John Perkins, and he unfortunately passed away a few months ago. So this is the first seminar that we're doing since he passed. And so thanks for being a part of this for us to kind of restart what we do, because he taught self-defense all over the world for 60 years. So those people, the people that are in the self-defense world, like he was the guy. And so we are really committed to try to keep all the good that he started in as well, right? So thanks for being part of that. And then thanks for Lynette to Lynelle for setting this up, you guys, because it's not so easy to get. Lynelle is our sunshine. I mean, what you told me about you guys having like the different, like the safety task force or what do you call it? I wish more businesses and real estate agents did that. It's a great idea. Okay, so we're gonna go through some of these strategies. Some of them are before you meet a client, some of them are during when you meet a client. Okay, so as we go through these, if everyone has a pen, what I'm gonna ask you to do is make a check mark if these are some things that you do already or you feel comfortable. Make a circle if these are something that you not do but seem like maybe interesting, something you might want to incorporate. And then anything that's not applicable or it's something that you don't want to do, you can just put a strike through. And if there's anything that you have questions about, just put a question mark, and then at the end, you will hopefully have time to go through it. Okay. So some of these are self-explanatory. Obviously, dark is no good, light is good. Knowing your buyer, and if you are able to check their ID beforehand, do you guys do that? Everybody does things differently. So if you meet somebody, do you have any clue whether they are who they say they are? No.
I haven't tried.
Yeah.
Like, it throws people for a loop. I gotta ask.
You just have to do it for everyone.
Right, because it's a fair.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe you have a public that we pre-approved things or I won't show anything. I would have to first have a pre.
Well, that's ideal. Exactly. Number one.
Which idea, the idea is really true, that you need to climb at the office.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then once you build a little bit of a relationship, you know who you're dealing with, then pick them out. You go in your car and they go in theirs.
Perfect. So you're teaching half of this for me, then we get to do this. So,
Typically in the real world, a lot of the times they want to be attacked.
right.
And it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also if you think about it, yes, meeting them in a public place is great, but you know, bad guys are good at being actors too.
Yeah.
So that's why I do love the pre-approval thing, because at least they are who they say they are. And also I like the idea of taking their picture with where their license plate is, car, you know, because you have their face and you have their license plate number at least, and you send it off. At least that's something that can be verified. And they probably, my friend does that. Heather did that with dating too. So yeah, like, so, hey, I can't wait to have dinner. By the way, just please set aside. Yeah.
Another scary world ultimately.
I know. Yeah, forget it.
Whole nother-
Yeah. Yes, it is. That's another question exactly. Yeah.
I could teach it.
No. Protecting yourself on social media. How do you guys good at that? Yes, no, maybe so. You know, most people are.
too much information out
Pretty
there.
much in TMI for
Yeah.
sure. So there's another thing that you could work on, going through your accounts, removing things that kind of show where you are, you know, your kids, where do you live?
Yeah.
You know, even somebody, I was talking to a guy who did investigations and, you know, Google reverse image lookup, you know what that is? So basically, let's say you have a picture of your face that you use for everything. You can reverse Google image that picture, and anywhere that that picture shows up online will be listed in the same thing. So if your LinkedIn picture is the same as your high school, like alumni picture, now they know where your high school. If that picture, right? Yeah. Yeah.
How do you read this Google image? How would you do?
You go onto Google, it's been a while, I can look it up. You just basically Google,
You just put
Google
the picture there.
reverse image lookup. Scary, right? I know. I'm not like a technical person, so when I hear these things, I'm like, yeah.
Next to the search bar, next to the search bar is like an icon,
Yeah,
and it looks like a photo, and you can upload photo in that. So it's right next to the search.
Never knew that.
crazy.
And then you hit that, and you upload picture, and hit search, and then it'll scan.
Yeah.
things.
Anywhere that picture shows up online. Fine. And then with that makes me think of the, you know, if on your business card or whatever, are you using your cell phone, like, you have your home. Communicating your schedule. So this is a little bit of a tricky one. Do you guys do any of that here? So what is your go-to?
It's a miracle I'm still
You know
alive.
what you're going.
You still going to Texas?
Oh, I am. Go for it.
Like, for example, Donna, when she's been, she calls me, she goes, listen,
All right, tackle.
this is
Yeah.
where I'm gonna be.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be out alone, so she calls me.
So the thing I'd love to say, so this is one of the main things everybody like who's talking about this will say, and I agree, it's important. Communicate your schedule. You could do it with a friend, coworker, you could have you could buddy up with somebody, and just let them know when and where you are. This came up when we were working with college girls, because a lot of times college girls were like, oh, I sent my friend or my parents were like, where the party's at, blah, blah. So that's great, yes, but just be aware that that could be a little bit of a false sense of security, because that's not preventative, right? The old phrase that when seconds count, seconds count, help is only minutes away. So it's great to have somebody who would be able to search for you at some point. But in that moment, it's really you or whoever you're with, you know? So just keep that in mind. There's a lot of apps I was looking through. So there's a lot of apps where you can automatically choose 5 people, and there's like a ton of them. So if you want to go through that route, there may be some value there. We don't necessarily, you know, promote anyone.
I have jewelry for realtors too. It's a necklace and you can't tell what it is, or a bracelet. Push it and it'll send you.
Like a little personal
Or
or,
if you're in trouble in a minute. Yeah.
and does that
But
go, and then if that can go to,
You
I
can
know,
put different, but
yeah, there's a lot of things
yeah,
like that
it's not gonna help you in the home.
in the moment.
We have a lockbox system now with the Sentry lock boxes that they have. An emergency, there's a button you press and it sends a signal to whoever you designated as your emergency contact.
Mhm.
No, it's not your phone.
You control it on your phone.
Yeah.
It's on the app, on the phone.
Yeah, but if somebody knocks your phone out of your hand.
Yeah.
Or. Okay, so open houses. You can do something if you're promoting an open house, you can just explicitly write that, you know, we require ID at the door. Just something that might deter somebody who's sketchy, because if they know they have to give ID. And that they cameras in an open house. And if you guys are wrapping up after an open house, then you can make sure you go through the home thoroughly, but not by yourself. Okay. Let them walk ahead. So this is a big one. Are you guys aware of this? Yes. Is that
Yeah,
it?
definitely.
Yeah. Okay. So that's huge, obviously. And then how do you position yourself when you're walking through?
By the door.
By the door. So is that ingrained for most of you guys? Kind of?
Can't really.
You can't be near the door. You don't want to be, and you unlock everything beforehand, right? You leave it open.
Windows.
Yeah, leave the windows open.
Blinds.
Windows, yeah,
Think about it.
blinds. That's why we can put the kitchen sink here, so you can look through it and see if there's any little things that are easy to do and never miss.
In between, always
like, let's say we're going through a house or whatever, he looks, innocent enough, but it turns out. So let's go through some things. So then, obviously, you guys have it where, do you ever have people where they're like arguing with you, like, no, you go ahead?
Yes.
Yes, and what do you say? No,
No, please.
no, please, I insist.
Yeah.
But please. No, but you after you. No, I really love for people to, get a feel of the space direct, like open, when you walk in. And then do I want to stand here? Or I want to stand here, right? Keep your distance, personal comfort, so personal comfort zone is at least where if he outstretches his arm, 2 or 3. If I'm here or closer, I don't have really any warning if he
I
tries
don't
to
have
do
to
anything.
move
He
at
doesn't have to
all
move.
to be.
But if I'm here, at least, he has to, now at least I get something, at least I get a clue, something that, it's not right. All right, so you're going through,
Go.
right, and then maybe you point out, so the other thing is you guys go to your listings beforehand and prep and make sure you know everything. You're on it. Practice, yeah. So there's a bunch of things to do before to know your listing, so you know kind of where the sketchy, like cornered parts are. You know where your exits are, and you're familiar with it before you. So then you can even direct them. Okay, so this is not new information, right? So do you guys do this? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but if you know that, if it's your listing, if you're going to the house for the first time,
Yeah.
you don't know the house.
Get there a couple minutes.
Well, you can let them have an out.
Yeah, and sometimes you're showing 4 homes and yeah.
It's like, know somebody, right? You know them.
You know them.
Or that's.
To do that.
Oh, joke. Yeah, there's a joke that I'm gonna come back on milk cart and I'm. That's like, that's not. Well, I know you want my milk cart.
I don't know. That's not our goal. And you're on the card.
Well, the idea is to let the person. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So
Keep your distance.
whatever you have to tell them. Let them feel like it's their home, so they're walk through your home, it's gonna be yours. So I mean, it works out well that way when you have them going through the house. Sure, you keep the distance, but you get to watch that, you get to see what they're doing. Even if you haven't shown, even if it's a house that you haven't been to, it's still go ahead, same kind of. Yes, this could be yours, check it out, the area, and you follow them. You make sure that you're in control of whatever's going on. You have to own part of it, you have to say. This is part of what I do. So you have to own that part.
And what if they try to get you closer? Like, have you ever had that? No.
People like to have different sense of personal
Personal
space.
Yeah.
And I just move away, and usually you sense that if you take a step back.
Okay.
Yes, and also it's that.
Yeah.
Or hey, can you come take a look at this? And so then now you have to come a little bit closer. to
Yeah,
see.
like, oh,
Yeah.
what's that? Just, yeah.
What's that window there? Yeah. But I mean, like, this in this ostensible post-COVID era, right? It's a lot of people naturally
Yeah.
won't just because it's been ingrained, but it's also an easy out if, oh, maybe there's a new variant coming around. I heard this thing out in Canada, so it's no trouble, really like. It's okay.
Right.
It is.
What is that?
Yeah.
What's out there?
I know, especially if you're comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to be, on guard all the time. It's exhausting, but certain things.
Turns out to be helpful.
I know, you want to bond with
Wanna be-
them. I
And
know.
you can be helpful. Have an idea of where you are in relation to that person. Keep in mind, like, that they want you to show them. Keep in mind where you are in relation to what they want to show. But don't put yourself in a compromise position because they want to see. There's ways that you can do it without having to compromise this. But they want you to bend down and look at something, you don't bend down, see it, that was bent down. And so always pay attention to where you are, patient.
Even if we're walking around, let's just say, and I'm keeping my distance or whatever, but I'm feeling a little irky, I can even just, I can even just put a hand up to, now this isn't like a move necessarily, but it's something that, because as we go through the physical stuff, what's the most important thing to protect is the computer. So let's say I can't really, I'm making my way into a better position. And this goes even like on the street or whatever, when there's a lot of people, you could just literally just scratch your head, put something, just something between, more space between you and my neck, you and my head, and also now my hand is up. So God forbid, like something happens all of a sudden, I'm actually in a better position just to be able to just send that. But we'll get there. I wanna, let's finish this part real quick. The escape excuse, number 11. So this is something that I feel is a good idea, but people often feel awkward about. Do you guys have a prepared exit excuse? God forbid you start to feel really hinky, like my gut is going on fire and I really need to get out of here.
We have a code word, at least in our office.
The red file? No.
Yeah, the red, we have a red file, or can you please get me the red file at 123 Main? And then you'll say, like, I need to go talk to them in the car so I can get this information. I'll be right back.
Yes.
And then that also signals to whoever you call that we're going, that the whatever the address you give is where you're at. The red indicates that you're in trouble and you need someone sent. So when you tell us that, we will call the police or we'll call someone to come meet you. The other code word we have is Gary's coming to dinner, because Gary Keller is our CEO. He's probably not coming in from Austin, Texas, as much as he loves each one of you. He's probably not flying in to have dinner with you last minute. So that's another code word for us that
great.
Something's wrong.
That's good. So those are all good things. And I also would suggest maybe to have a heightened, like, again, because we're talking about what's preventative and what's after the fact. So if you feel like you got to get at, because your awareness and all that, number one, for most part, by far, number two is getting out of it. Okay, so escape. If you feel something's off, you can escape. So for me, I think I would use something that sounds so emergent that there's no time for me to explain anything, because now I'm at that level where I need to get it. So for me, I would want to make believe like, oh my God, my mom, there's been an accident or something, because then I can get out of here there. Nobody's gonna get mad at you. You're not gonna get in trouble. Like, you know what I mean? I just feel like if I'm like, oh, I gotta go to the office, people are gonna get kind of pissed. It doesn't seem to me emergent enough to run away the way you feel like you need to. Does that make sense? So something general, something vague. Oh my God, I gotta go. I'm so sorry. Blah, blah, blah. And you're just making your distance. You already know how to get out of the house. You know, like, how to, that your door is already unlocked. And if they give you any pushback, well, then they're revealing themselves right there. Anytime that any decent person is not going to try to stop you because you're trying to get away. So I would put that out there, but it's really important to kind of make these decisions in advance, because when you're scared and you're questioning yourself and you feel off, that's not the time to start deciding things. It's not the time to start deciding, maybe I should say something and get it. What am I going to say? Blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So preparing your responses in advance is huge. So I would encourage you guys to do that. And then I was reading somewhere too that the red file is pretty often used. So I think even they were saying like some criminals even know about it. I don't know if that's true. So you can look at the rest of these. Any questions or comments about that? Do you see any things that you don't do that you might start doing?
The only thing that just stands out to me is the cell phone check, because there's so many areas around here, especially as we go up into Sullivan County, that have to go with cell phones.
Yeah.
And that really could just be an area of opportunity to know what alternatives, there are in those.
With the Wi-Fi thing?
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know if you'll have an active internet service in any of these houses, but a visit ahead of time would at least allow you to know whether or not you do have service there. If not, if you can hook up the Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi call, then there's that, but knowing whether or not you have the ability to communicate there will could be a major indicators to what choices you make while you're there. On
Or at least you're not like being
following
like, oh, we're, you know, like, where's, you know that you're not gonna.
So I have one right now, it's a shell. It's on a 10-acre lot in a neighborhood where the homes are on minimum 10 acres, most 20, and there's no signal.
Yeah.
And the driveway is almost half a mile long. And so when I have been out there, I've been absolutely terrified. I
Yeah.
do have a taser, but I'm actually letting the listing go because I get so undone every time I go out there, because it's usually a man,
Yeah.
because it's an unfinished
Uh-huh.
home. And it's so
And you
scary.
can't, you can't take anyone with you?
I mean, I've tried, but.
I know, I figure like everybody's busy now, nobody wants
Yeah.
to, right?
Yeah, it's really, really terrifying.
Yeah.
And it's in a, $1 million plus neighborhood, but it doesn't matter.
You do have a nice little-
They actually go after.
I
them.
do have one.
They do have nice.
I have, it looks like a little
Slimline tasers like that.
glitzy.
that,
Yeah.
like,
My cards and.
Yeah, but I'm just afraid it can be.
I just need,
Yeah.
how are you?
We'll get, yeah.
I'm seriously letting it go, but it's not worth the fear.
I think that's a perfect decision. It's not $1 million.
Why?
Those are the whole choices that you need to make.
I'll go right
I
on.
waited at the very end of the, when you were talking, I was thinking like I could wait at the end of the driveway, it's vacant.
Yeah.
Lockbox is on the front door, say, go ahead, here's the combo, I'll be right out here when you're
Yeah.
done.
And
That's not.
Yeah.
Let's go and
Yeah.
open the door and go back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Normal guys can understand that.
Sure.
Right.
Go in, I'll sit in their car, or whatever they do. Maybe
Yeah.
have
Soon
to
as
go.
you get in your car, lock the door.
Lock the
Yeah,
door.
lock the door.
I've never had one like this before.
Yeah, that's.
It's in a Pokeway Beekman, it's over on the other side of the river, near.
We understand. Oh, God.
There you go. You go, girl.
What's happening?
It is. Well, it's quite a whole
setup, yeah.
It's in this neighborhood where you can't see another house. It's a 12-acre lot and there's no signal. So, and the driveway is half a mile long. So there is, if I screamed my brains out, nobody would.
When I started, I did a lot of real estate upstate and everything was isolated and everything had no cell service. So I think that's why, I think you have to make sure you're aware though, and that you're taking the precautions. I never, whenever I was meeting a new client at a house like that, I always brought something with me. Oh,
Not-
yeah. You know what, let's
Not always.
only know what you like and do somebody.
Not for real. I don't have a problem.
What's good about talking to you guys versus like the 17-year-old girls is you get it, and there's no clear, like, there's so many gray areas, there's no quick fix, there's always questions that. There's no one solution that fits all.
Not to worry. The door checks the house, you know.
So you guys, I'll leave off with that, you guys can look through it, see what you can take into your own practice,
you.
and if there's any questions that come up.
have another one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, because there's people back there that I don't think.
I'm gonna send it also to Lynelle, because she told, like, I thought there was,
Go send
I
it.
made copies for whoever signed up, so
Okay.
we'll have it, you know, we make whatever.
No, people that show up to these.
Yeah. So we looked at awareness, we looked at escaping, but what if all else fails? God forbid, you're in that situation and now you gotta fight. This is.
Second there, but
Wait.
kick him in the ball.
Okay, you're getting ahead.
Don't say it to the class now. I'll give you a hang. Punch my throat.
You go for the nose too.
So the nose, the throat, the groin, so let's say, this, okay? So let's say, God forbid, I have to fight somebody like Jerry. Where am I gonna wanna go at? Neck, groin, the nose, maybe.
Grabs from behind.
Well, that's a great question. Yeah, because that's usually how it happens. We will get there. The things that we're gonna show you to, basically what we do is pretty different because we train to respond to the unpredictable. Okay, so we're constantly trying to change things up, surprise, attack, this and that. How do you just get your crap together when shit hits the fan? What do you have, what are the most important things that I need to do? I need to protect my head, I need to get my balance, because I don't want to fall, like, ground's the last place I want to be, for sure. And I gotta know what I can do with my size against somebody their size that's actually gonna stop them. Because that's not the same. So yes, you for, especially for a woman, but this is for everybody. Your primary targets are the eyes, the throat, and the groin. However, of those three, the eyes are the prize. If you don't remember anything else that I say today, the eyes are the prize. Say, the eyes are the prize. Why are the eyes the prize? Why are the eyes the prize? Michael can't take an eye poke.
Thank you.
You can't build up your eyelids, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter, even the ridiculousness of us standing together first. But I can even, like, I mean, I can get there, right? So that's my bugaboo, that I am on a mission for every, especially woman, to know that. Because when I talk to women, and I'm a nurse, I'm with women all the time, and I ask them that, they all do this. They all do this, okay? So what's the matter with this now?
Anybody a boxer?
Anybody a boxer?
Anybody in boxing every
Okay.
day, 3 times a week?
No.
Taking a pad, taking a pad.
I wanna be boxer. Anything that gets you moving is good. But for self-defense, if we're saying eyes of the prize, I don't have my fingers here. What am I gonna do? And so the second thing I want you to definitely remember is no, don't fight with your fists. Never fight with your fists. Why? Besides the fact that I can't get them, the fist is extremely unstable. It takes years to build up a proper fist. And you wouldn't, honestly, even if I do that, what is that gonna do to him? You know what I mean? Like, no. I could probably take maybe one, maybe I can even take one hit before I'm on the ground. That's it. But I could be going at him all day and that's not gonna do it. But regardless, you have 2 seconds. Remember, you have 2 seconds. Also, if you were to do this, okay, I'm not gonna have you get up like I usually do, but you can feel that hurts. You don't want to break your hand. These little bones in our hand, very, very damageable.
Just do it to their head.
Okay.
Lightly. Do it lightly to their head, and then she'll go.
Oh, okay. Yeah, good.
So
Okay, yes.
Lightly, don't hurt yourself, obviously. Just lightly to your head,
Right.
use your fist, just to touch your head, and then open your hands and try it again with your hands. Notice it's great difference.
So why don't you, because I've been talking
Notice
about.
great differences. So if you're thinking of the fist, I tell people, you want to box, right? Everyone box. Everyone knows how to box. If you stand in front of your mirror every morning when you get up, think about this, and you have a focus mitt, right? Everyone knows what focus mitt, little mitts they use to punch, on the wall, attached to the wall, and you brush your teeth. And you stand there while you're brushing your teeth. Every day, brushing your teeth, switching your hands, brush your teeth. Every day, you will develop what? Strength. Boxing hands. You will know not to bend your wrist. You'll hurt it enough times, you know to keep it straight. There's no reps. You get in the street and I start messing with you, I'm like, hold on a second. And then you start fighting. No, that's not how it goes. When you have to go, this is the way to go. Just simple. You don't have to think about it. Couple of these, as opposed to a couple of those. You only get to use these 2 knuckles. That's what boxers are allotted. And they break their hands all the time, and they're wrapped. So this is all you get to use, these 2 knuckles. I just created that much more space. Look at that. And what's on the top of that? Oh my gosh. I can get some eyes while I'm doing it, right? Oh my gosh, look at that. I've got 2 things going on right now at the same time. Hit, grab, hit, and grab. So just a thought.
And so instead of a fist, there's nothing here. Also, so we call this a palm heel strike in martial arts world, right? So it's not only are you getting the eyes, but you're actually as much strength and power as you would be able to get with your fist, you can get and deliver to here. You have a lot less risk of hurting yourself. So what this looks like, let's say Jared, all of a sudden he grabs me or whatever, I don't know.
It's scary, but
It's scary, but we do this.
effective.
It's different every time, but what I'm doing is kind of the same every time. Going to the eye. Going to that. The throat is good, yes. Not so easy to get off. as easy as the eyes, because if you think about it, he's not just gonna be standing there, like, you know, like this, letting me just like, oh. He's not just gonna be letting me do that. He's gonna be moving. He's probably gonna, you know what I mean? So that's valid, but not as easy as it seems. And even the good old groin ain't what it's cracked up to be. Because yes, you can stop a guy maybe, but just to be aware that first of all, guys have a little bit of a sixth sense when it comes to getting kneed in the balls. They're used to it. So it may not be so easy to pull off. Also, if they're hopped up on drugs or really their adrenaline is coursing, they may not even feel it at all. But eyes, throat, groin are your primaries. And the idea is what we want to get you doing is, God forbid you have to do anything, you're going to do it immediately. You're going to do it you don't have to think about it, and you're going to go off as quickly as you can, but you can get out of there as quickly as you can, right? So, and the question that you had about what if some guy is like coming up on me and I don't know what happens. So, I love just do whatever. Right?
Immediately turns the odds.
So the beginnings of this is what we're gonna start doing, okay? So first, I just want, you guys have to do this. I don't care. You guys
Don't do it hard.
you don't have to do it hard, but I just want you to feel.
Come on first.
And this is very intuitive. I don't even actually have to look. And my fingers just go. I love the mask because you can feel where the eyes are. Okay. And it's literally right. Boom, 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 boom.
You gonna take that turn?
All day.
Yeah.
So together, you guys just maybe, yeah. Who wants to come up?
Who wants to come up?
Come on.
Go crazy.
You're totally.
They know you by name already?
You want to keep your hands in front of you, right? And you're just gonna go back and forth. Yeah. That's it. That's it.
It's just too late.
It just starts there. Eventually you want to be able to.
Now, it's gonna move, so you still have to follow. Good.
Yeah, good. Yes.
It's not a workout, girl.
Okay, go ahead, guys. And at least from your seated position, which is not how you're gonna fight, just get the video.
One hand.
So wait, more.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Hit Michael Myers. Come on, son.
Good.
Yeah, I want you to do this again, but I want you to.
One nail.
Get it out, AJ.
Beautiful. There we go. Nailed it in. If I may. Yeah, there you go. Now you get that. There we go. Nice.
Your husband better not make you.
Oh, no, there. Right now.
I would hate to hurt their wrist.
Yeah.
I know.
We're not making you go.
Yeah, Allison. Oh, Isaiah, come on. What's that, man? You don't love her, not a
My nurse were really like, heads up. I'm pretty chill.
Do you teach this?
Yeah.
Yes.
You are.
I mean, nurses is tricky, because when they try to teach nurses self-defense, they try to teach them against what a patient attack. You can't have a real life.
My daughter, I can tell you,
So-
mother, she didn't care.
Well, it depends, if I'm the only one doing it, I'll just show them, you know. So how you would incorporate the knee? Okay, this is, get up, just stand up. This is making me very uncomfortable that you're sitting, I can't.
Zoomland, stand up if you want.
Okay. Thank you. So, pick, to use your legs, all you're gonna do is march in place. Literally, that's it, okay? That's it. It's none of this, it's none of these fancy kicks, right? You don't need any of that, right? Someone's coming at me, and I position my,
Thank you.
or just put me.
It's one unit, you're not trying to throw a high knee.
Yeah, because you don't want
It's
to.
just right here. That's it. You're right
Here's where, maybe let's get the mitts and just have them touch. I'm gonna put them over them. Just have their touch. You can feel what it's like. Sorry, you wanna do that? My pyramids. Keep your hands up, always keep your hands up. All right, doesn't matter.
Okay, so why don't you kick? Why do you stop at the knee, the high knee? Versus full extension?
Because you're much more off balance. And remember, they're not standing there, they're on you.
Correct.
So if you do this, you know.
Yeah.
Grabbing your leg while they're.
I'm also just showing for people who can't necessarily do the demonstration.
No, I
so-
love the questions, and you ask me any, take advantage of it.
Our sneakers on top, dude.
Boots are great.
Minty was.
You the guy in the north is that, or that's gonna hurt. Unless the adrenaline, you never know.
Good, and also you know, while this is great for getting, you know, the pelvis area, this kick
Or
is very potent as well. So if you're taking out somebody's shin from underneath them with, I mean, it doesn't take long to deliver.
Yeah, well, I was asking, because the other thing too is all the power in the kick is in the knee drive too. It's not in the cord. I used to.
How long was it?
Like I was.
A little bit.
That's-
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm off balance, yeah, yeah.
That's why you don't.
Yeah.
You
So maybe you guys would, why don't you just say a little something about what the difference is between, because what the difference is between self-defense versus maybe traditional martial arts, MMA, like what is the difference between sports and self-defense?
Well, sporting and self-defense, MMA, there are rules. There's rules governing all of them, right? So if I'm going to do an activity with him, I just can't go like that to his eye. I just touch his eyebrow. I can't do that. That's not right. Because there's rules. So I have to hit with a mitt, with a pad, no groin shots. I can't snap his knee. That's rules, right? I can't get on and get him and just snap his arm, because that's not it. If you're not doing sport, it's just self-defense. You do whatever you want. You just got to get out. You got to get home. Everybody's trying to get back home. Start out at home. You want to get back home. And that's all you're thinking about.
What about a cardio kickboxing class?
Oh, that's great. You get your wind up. You know, you get some exercise in. But when it comes down to it, obviously he's not a small person. You know, I'm a sizable person. So when it comes down to gravity, now, you know, you got to start working from here. Then that's a whole other class. Going down to the ground, doing some kicks, snapping my knee. It's, you know, I'm a little bit bigger, taller, doesn't matter. A little more knowledge, doesn't matter for size. You know what I mean? So you see what I'm saying? Self-defense and training for an art. It's different, two different animals, completely. You leave home, you're going back.
And especially for a woman, I think everything has its purpose. But things like wrestly things, and this is where you guys are smart people, you can kind of discern for yourself, especially if you want to go take a self-defense course somewhere. Try to think to yourself what they're offering. Is it something that relies on a lot of specific setups? Is it something where it's like, you know, if the guy grabs you here and then you have anything that takes too much thought, we're off, done. No, no. You know what I mean? And anything that's not teaching you like how to, anything that's teaching you how to grapple, like that's just not, women understand this more than the men, I feel, because they have a lot of preconceptions about what fighting is. This is not a bar fight. This is not, you know, I'm gonna kick your ass, right? Women, we get this a little bit.
For life, fighting for life.
So eyes of the prize. I want you guys to do it more, but it's okay. Okay. So the basics of what we teach physically, we can then adapt to all these different situations. So we call it, so this is pom-pom knee, right? This is like one of the basic things. And if you maybe even against a heavy bag or something, you can do that if you want. Have someone push you, get your balance, pom-pom knee, pom-pom knee. If you, so this can be applied to a lot of different things. So let's say somebody tries to grab me, okay? What if a guy's trying to grab you, usually what is it? It's about control, right? They want to control you. Maybe they want to just, a lot of times they'll just grab you and punch you out. And what is the typical response, do you think? Right? Like freeze, I want to pull away, but that makes it easy, right? Because well, he has another hand right here. All he has to do is bring me in, that's it, game over. So instead, what I want to do is kind of go, I want to hit him. So the other thing we always say is attack the attacker. If you're getting to that point, you got to go off. You got to go off. So I feel him pulling again.
Almost.
These guys know how to move really well. Like, yeah, decades of moving together. I have funny jokes about. Anyway, let's go. Right. Doesn't matter. So the other thing is, you were talking about if someone's behind you or something, right? Which is usually the case. So,
So the thing is, you're like, you're moving so fast.
that's the whole
That
thing.
they're probably not expecting you to respond like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you move so fast.
You have to. And that's where the awareness comes in.
Yeah.
Because if he comes at me and I'm kind of lost in my world,
Yeah.
well, now this is too late.
Yep.
It has to be at that. It has to be at that first little bit. Is what it is. It's the best thing
It's
you
your
got.
second to get away.
It's your second to get away. So wrist grab, shoulder grab, you could do that. But then we do, then the next level is what we still call the fright reaction. So we're just adding this little thing to basically protect my head, get my balance, get my hands up. Sometimes this will just even act as a little bit of a, it's like a spike, right? But at least now I'm like, I'm like, oh my God, what's happening? And now I just do the same thing again, right? So, and every time, so this you could do with a hair pull.
Better than TV.
Good night.
Let's start.
We'll get to that later.
Good night.
You want to grab me, or whatever you want. You know, get your balance, go up, get out.
Okay, you turn towards them almost every time.
Yeah, because I've been doing this a while,
Yeah.
eventually, with, so when we do classes for women, you'd be surprised at what you can do in like we can get like an hour or two. You doing 2 hours, we get you doing everything that I did here, also from the ground, how to kick, even if you're seated, how to use your legs. Your legs are the strongest thing compared to a man. The closest thing you have in strength is our legs. So of course you don't want to be on the ground, but you can see these videos of women like on subways and stuff. Okay,
Thanks, Nicola.
on subways and stuff. So even if you're sitting, you can use your leg, stuff like that. Women catch on really fast, actually.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
We have to.
But you have exactly. Because you
No
have to.
offense, men.
Yeah. Question? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions? Yeah, so let's open up the floor.
Zoom, feel free to either unmute yourself or write in the chat if you have any questions for our demonstrators. Can we give them a quick round of applause? They got to work out.
Good question. So.
I got some.
And like.
Can you come back next year? Can we just schedule that right now?
I know, it's really good, I mean. Probably within like 5 or 6 classes, you have a solid, oh, yeah, no, we have to do this real quick, okay. Well,
We have pens here.
Yeah.
If you take a
So wait a minute,
pen being my,
we have to do self-defense weapons really quick, because this is all,
just the last part, and we'll get you out of here. If you have a pen in your hand, use the pen in your phone. Go ahead and have your phone, whatever. The pen is good, have your hand here, or a little light. I think I lost mine.
He usually always has.
Oh, it's right here.
Or think of a smaller flashlight. This is just a small flashlight, you know, in your pocket with handles. Pen is better. You just have it in your hand or your phone. And then for those that want to come up, just see the effect. I'm just gonna have you use this pen.
back up 2 seconds, I'm gonna give you my self-defense
Right.
weapons spiel. So how many of you guys have carried something as a self-defense weapon? Yes, what?
What?
And I.
Knife?
Where's your knife? Where's your
Where
knife?
is it?
Oh, good place. What else? In your pocket? Yeah. Okay.
Right now I'm in the office.
No, I know.
Sorry.
It's on your belt. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Stay,
Yeah,
put-
I want to find out.
Yeah.
It's on. Practice with it.
No.
Sorry.
I have a pistol.
What do you?
I have a pistol.
You have a pistol?
Not on me, it's in my truck.
No, I understand. So when you're walking out, you have your pistol on you? The pistol covered, concealed? Have you practiced yours? Practice all the time? Okay, good.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
There'll be a memo later.
Yeah. Taser? Taser in hand, charged fully, always on, beautiful. Okay.
Here's what you need to know about the reality of the weapon piece. Number one is whatever weapon you have in your hand, whatever weapon you carry, you have to have it in your hand at the time that you need to use it, by the time that you need to use it. So I carry knives. I hang out with these guys. They all carry knives. So I'm like, oh, I practice. I get super quick. Blah blah blah. Then we start drilling. What happens when he bum rushes me and I have to get it out? You know, I cut my.
Gotta make space.
It's not the same.
Gotta make
It's
space.
not the same.
Different kind of practice.
Yeah. So it can't even be here because especially if it's one of these, like it doesn't always open. You really have to practice with that. And a lot of times you won't even have, I won't pull it.
Yeah, thank you for switching that. Yes.
If he just comes at me all of a sudden, oh, gee, you know, like, Jesus, right? At least you still need that hand-to-hand stuff because even if I at least make do that, then I can get it. It still takes practice, you guys. It takes practice. You're almost better off not carrying something and thinking that it's, something that it's not. The full sense of security, which brings me to pepper spray. That's the big one. I'm not saying don't use pepper spray, but there's a few things you need to understand about it. First is, this is more maybe for general when you're out in life, especially if people start wearing more masks again. Before COVID, pepper spray had an effective rate of maybe 50% in use. Okay, now with masks, glasses, and hoodies and all that stuff, you can see why it would be probably a little much lower rate, trying to get that off in a real thing. Also, again, you have to have it in your hand, turned on, pointed the right way, not where it's windy, where it's going to come back at you. And not when you're in a closed space where you can get it too. So those are just things. And if he's coming from behind, I'm not unlikely I'm going to want to spray this way. Now it's even too late because I already had it like this. So that's just something to keep in mind. Yes, you want to say anything?
No.
We have to, okay. We have to say things now. Okay, fine. Which brings us to the power of the pen. So the pen we love because you can literally have it anywhere. You can carry it on a plane. I used to carry one in my jacket pocket. It's much easier to get through too. And there are tactical pens. But even a regular, not a Bic, not like the crappy Bics, but like something that's like one piece and not too hard. We're going through soft tissue. And basically, that's it. Okay, so if somebody comes and I want to, I'm just gonna go for this. Oh, fuck.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. Come on.
Even if he comes from behind, okay, I can maybe do that, you know, maybe just like a split second, but it's something, you know, it's acceptable and it works. So we're gonna, everybody stand up, get your pen, we're at least me.
Yeah.
Stand up. Fine, let's go.
Pen that we have, or
Make a line right here.
big line. Oh, that's not the guy. Standing line.
Oh, geez.
Hold it up.
Right.
There you go.
Yep.
Go ahead. Stand on.
Yeah, the last thing I want you to do is make sure you put your thumb in the end, because otherwise it gets slip through. So just put your. Anyway. And really. So I want you to do like this, just like this, like.
But
There you go. Come on in, man.
and broke my pen.
You don't look like you don't look like
Donna, thumb on the top so it doesn't move. Oh, it looked like your thumb was on it.
No, wait,
Getting on this.
The resistance that you felt there is actually more resistance than you would feel on soft tissue. So it actually is quite effective. So these are all ideas. Anything takes training and practice, and you need a good instructor. There's a lot of good people out there with a little bit of information, so, any questions? We're good?
My husband has, I mean, I take my husband with me every week, take my husband.
Nice.
He's a retired my country, so I don't have to
Get
worry,
me one of
but
those.
he has given me through the years, he has given me tips,
Yes.
safety tips.
Yeah.
One of them, he's done this with Lucy too, she picked up on this habit, is that when we pull into a driveway, we don't pull into it, we back into it, so that when we go out. The other thing is that he tells me, you know, carry my keys in my hand, but they can also be used as a weapon, and if I don't have my keys, because we're going into the lock boxes, you should always have the keys in between your fingers, just in case. And one of the things you did point out here, he's always told me, never walk ahead of them, walk behind them, let them go in the house first, let them go up the stairs first, everywhere, let them do it first.
Perfect. I'm so glad you mentioned the keys. I think that you just need to know, well, first, these keys, most people have a key fob now, these are like old school keys. But, just be aware that this. What? It could hurt, like, it's actually pretty unstable. If you move, you could actually, as tight as I wanna go, and this is I can move this, so. If I look at what we wanna do, which is go to the eyes of the prize, and I have this, which is maybe like scratching power, if I don't hurt myself, which is this, which is stopping power. I personally would prefer just the fingers and not getting hurt with the keys. Even this, it's a little, maybe if it was this, you know, a little bit longer, it would be more of a weapon, but that's one of the things that women often, it's like one of the bigger things that people think of as a weapon that isn't really that great in our case. But it's all, everything is, yeah.
Gonna hurt you.
Yeah, it's gonna hurt.
It just seems, it seems like I wouldn't be able to do anything because it would be too awkward.
It's very awkward, yeah, it's very awkward.
Right.
I think that's more for like old school before they, you know, things have all developed and things like that. This, we use pens, or this is my personal favorite. Yeah, that's it's called a Kubaton, but it was a point. This is like a martial arts thing, but this is actually super, I carry this on my keychain.
Great.
Because when I have my keys on me, whatever, and this is attached, I'm actually already in position, so I like it.
I see that.
Yeah, like the pen without all the break.
Exactly.
Similar.
It used to be like $1, but Amazon never like $10, but
Put it in between, you know, it's carriers rather,
Right.
See them,
What
they're similar to, they're not similar to these.
I know.
But it looks like a little.
Yeah, well, that's not bad too. I would love for the ears to be, again, think of scratching power versus stopping power. Are they, is it enough to penetrate? And then again, and then if you're looking for a pen, they also have these tactical pens, which are through the metal, they still stand up to anything. So there are a lot of choices there. And if you have questions, my information's on the thing, and I know we're over time, so thank you very much.
I'll start your class. Like, how do you rock you?
We'll talk after. I'll
Yeah.
give you my card. So let me just give you a round of applause. Thank you guys.
And again, Zoomland, we will be getting you a copy of, yes, we'll get you a copy of that questionnaire, and I will send out these tips as well. Dulce would like me to remind you not to practice on your clients unless it is necessary, or family members. That's our little disclosure. All right, thanks, guys.
So here's my card. Oh, yeah.